Welcome back, everybody, to the Cali Current Podcast. It's your host, Grimace.
And your host, Ish, as well. How's everybody doing today?
We hope you're doing amazing, because that's how I be 24/7. Dre, Snoop, and Devin. Hey, Snoop Dogg, you know we're in the west side, the best side, Cali Current. But today, episode 39, 3 to 9. Woo! Hey, you know, it's the most miracle times, 3 to 9. If you're not been knowing about that biblical worldwide wide showing, hey, episode 39. So just letting you know, we're going to kick it off with some amazing stuff. Like Dr. Dre said, he's untouchable like Alien Ness. But guess what we going to touch on episode 39? Immigration reform. It's heating up, Ishmael. What's the current scene?
Well, I mean, what do you want me to say? It's like they're going to stop giving amnesty to brown people, and they're going to start giving amnesty to people that really don't care for it, which is Anglos and or, you know, whatever, gabachos in Spanish, if that's how you want to put it.
I mean, okay, coming from my perspective, I mean, me, a Chicano, you know, from the west side, the best side. I mean, as a teenager, a young teenager in my early 13s, 12s, I did come to the realization too, okay, my grandparents immigrated to this amazing country, and now I'm a citizen of the USA. And then I did realize too, okay, you can only do that for so long. Whereas, okay, you gotta immigration reform. And I realized that as a child, and I was not too politically involved, but yeah, as a child, I knew the circumstances of war, of territorialness. But still, even at that young age, I realized, okay, I'm appreciative that this country did let my grandparents and parents become citizens. But at some time, it's messed up to say, we're done, close the door. But at the same time, if you leave the door open to everybody, I mean, I don't want to let any stranger into my house. You know what I mean? But
do you understand that the Statue of Liberty is there because of the fact that it's give me your tired, give me your poor, give me your huddled masses or whatever. It's not there because we only wanted to keep European Americans in this country, because not everybody, the only people that are from this country are the Native Americans, which we oppressed, meaning the European Americans, once they got to this country, meaning Spanish and English, whatever, European roots, ancestry or whatever. But they're the ones that oppressed the Native Americans, and now they were being all, I guess, kept in a reservation because that's how they control a population, especially the Native Americans, who are the original people that were from this country. None of us are from this country at all whatsoever. The only ones that are the Native Americans. And yeah, right now, well, the majority of them, they're in a, reservation if they want to stay there, but a lot of them don't, and or whatever the case may be. But they're the ones that are the original natives, not us.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from with this colonized mind, talking about the Native Americans are the only ones that are natural to this land. But really, okay, Mexico really owned the whole west side, California and Texas, until the Texans decided to be rebellious, and
they basically were. Mexico was a part of basically half of the United States.
Yeah, Texas west
all the way up to the
Texas to the west
Canadian border.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, the people from the Caucasus Mountains
Colorado,
were about their
Utah,
capitalism.
Nevada, Idaho.
They were about their
Montana.
capitalism, and they wanted to maintain their slavery. You know the history if you look it up. But, I mean, fast forward, you're saying that Native Americans were the only ones that were here native. Actually, Mexican Native Americans were just settled, and then it got converted into America. So,
well, it was first the Spanish. It wasn't. Native Americans have always lived in these lands and or here in the U.S.
So what Native Americans are actually technically Mexicans.
No, Spain took over the territories once they got here, but all the lands belonged to the Native Americans, as history tells us, before Columbus arrived in 1492.
Okay, so Native Americans were originally then claimed as Mexicans then because they were under
No, first it
Mexicano.
was Spain. You don't understand. The General de Santa Anna is the one that sold the land to the U.S. basically after being defeated in the Mexican-American War.
Because they lost, so they had no choice but to
Well,
sell.
they didn't. It's not that they didn't have a choice. According to the president, I would assume it was I forgot who it was actually. Jefferson possibly wanted to take over the land because they wanted the U.S. to be from sea to shining sea. And I'm only saying that is because basically they started the Mexican-American War because they invaded Mexico to start the war because that's just how we do. And that's what we used to, the United States of America. We're used to invading other places and then we want to say, oh, well, they needed it for democracy purposes. But that's just the gist of it in reality. But what can I say? It's like the land wasn't stolen, but the Santana didn't want, he shouldn't have sold the land of Mexico to the U.S. Basically, the president at that time forced him to sell it to him because they wanted the land to be from sea to shining sea.
Okay, so it makes sense. And okay, then you know what? It sounds like it's a whole lot of drama coming from USA, colonial America to Mexico, just slightly southern of the border. Okay, and then you're going to have some Mexicans, which, I'm Mexican, Chicano, whatever same thing. Okay, we're coming to this country of USA, and now you're saying there's drama between you're a citizen, you're a resident, It's like, you know what? You should make citizenship easier for those coming from bordering countries, which would basically only be Canadians or Mexicans. Like, if you want to be an American citizen, you should make it like a 3 step process. Okay, if you're coming from Lithuania, you're coming from Switzerland, you're coming from Poland, then yeah, let's make it like a hard, like, hey, fool, you're trying to come over here to the west side, the best side, or, Americas. Hey, let's see your paperwork. Let's see your report card.
Okay, the only reason why I became a U.S. resident, not because, because back then, the Republican president, Reagan, he's the one that started the amnesty program, not nobody else. The only reason why Trump now wants to get rid of it is because, like I said, he wants to get rid of the brown people. They basically said that he wants to force all the people that are on Medicaid and or whatever the case may be to work the lands. That's why he's trying to get rid of all the Mexicans or all the brown people, because he's trying to make and or force the people that are able-bodied that are on Medicaid. But it's all BS because not a lot of people that are able-bodied are on Medicaid. It's only a small few percentage. It's mostly for old people that and or babies Medicaid, and that's why he's trying to get rid of it. He's trying to abolish it because he wants. Well, first of all, everything has to do with capitalism. He wants to make sure that people are paying for whatever residencies from other countries, especially like oligarchs.
On paper, talking about it, it doesn't make sense. Like, if you're on Medicaid and you're on government subsistence, like, I feel like, hey, you're collecting government benefits. You could go out in the field and go pick some berries, go pick some fruit, go pick some oranges. It does seem like an easy job. Like, you don't got, like, do 2 hours a week. You're on Medicaid, go do 2 hours a week. You're getting health care. Go to the field and pick some oranges for 2 hours a week.
But they won't do that. That's the problem. They don't want to do that.
It seems it's easy though. Like, go do it. I go picking fruit for like 5, 7, 8 hours a day.
You're not them because they've already been given the money, not because they're privileged, but because they've been already given the money to basically not do anything, and that's why they don't do anything, because the government makes it too easy for people to be lazy. Period. And that's including, SNAP, and that's including whatever, I don't know, welfare, whatever you want to put it. And I'm only being real because that's just what it is. It's like when I used to live in, me and my wife, when we used to live in the valley in Woodland Hills, there was a bunch of Armenian people or people from that part of the country, or sorry, the world, where they collected benefits, and these women bragged about how they had like BMWs, and about how they said that it was too easy for them to collect government money and they still have their lavish lifestyles. How is it that somebody that's collecting from the government has a lavish lifestyle and or a BMW when I can't even afford a BMW on what I work. So how is it that, because it's too easy for people to be lazy, period. I mean, in general, anybody, it doesn't matter what race you're from, or what religion, or what credo, or what origin you're from, or whatever the case may be. The brown people are not to blame to that because the brown people love to work. We'll stand in the corner, selling flowers, selling oranges, selling whatever we can. You don't see a lot of brown people out there in the world asking for money unless possibly not. And I'm only being real and stereotypical is because they have a, whatever, drug problem or something, drug addiction.
Yeah, shout out to the people of Armenia. You know what? It's an interesting fact. I didn't really know about Armenia until like 2017. Like I was probably like 30 until I found out about Armenia. And then like I went up north, the Bay, San Francisco. They even have like a plaque commemorating. There was like a Holocaust of Armenians, like an Armenian genocide. I was like, oh, I did not even know about. They didn't teach us that about in our history books. Because, in history, growing up, they only teach us so many stuff. They teach us about the Jews, but they don't teach us about the Armenians. And you know what? Hey, shout out Big Boy's Neighborhood, Power 106, or,
He doesn't work there for that station anymore.
Yeah, you're right. He doesn't work for that station
somewhere else.
anymore.
I forgot what it is.
But yeah, Big Boy and
I think it's 94.3 or something like that.
92.3, something like that. His morning radio station, he had this co-host. She was this good co-host girl. Her name was Ani, and she was Armenian. And then that's was like, oh damn, and back in 2017, I was working in LA, and then I'd work different areas of LA, and yeah, that's when I figured out Armenians, and then they sent me to training and up in Northern California, and then like I was telling you by this bridge. They have a placard commemorating remember the Armenian genocide. I forgot what regime committed against them, but yeah, that's like that's a thing. I was like, what the heck?
Okay,
but yeah, Armenians, like you were saying, they're also hardworking people like Mexicans, and.
But I'm talking about the ones that don't want to work, that just want to collect a paycheck.
Yeah,
they want to have a lavish lifestyle.
Yeah, they got gypsies too, I'm sure, and there's also Mexicans, and a lot of, I mean, no offense, but there's a lot of people from the Caucasus Mountains. A lot of Americans feel like the government owes them, and then they don't want to work, and then they take advantage of the system, and then there's a lot of foreigners that figure out those kind of tricks to the trade, you could say, and they don't work and they just try to work the system. But really, it should be like, hey, come on, people, we're all here as a whole group. We got to make this whole thing work for everybody. But then people get tired and just want to take advantage of it.
Well, look, a great example of why the middle class pays for the rich to stay rich and the poor to keep collecting a check without them not putting their part of society is my wife's family. They're all immigrants. They all don't. None of them, the majority of them don't have their residencies, or they don't have status here in the U.S. But they collect food stamps. They collect Medi-Cal. They collect whatever SNAP and food stamps is the same thing. And they collect whatever, not a welfare check, but they get benefits. Meaning the more kids they have, I think after 3 kids, it's the same amount of money, and at the end of the year when they do their taxes, they get a lot of tax incentives, like I don't know what, 6 or 7 grand, or I don't know what the case may be, and it's frustrating that we work hard as Americans in the middle class and we don't get any of those benefits because we either make too much money or we're within a certain tax bracket, and that's not fair because the middle class basically keeps everything going, the economy, just everything in general in the U.S. And including the immigrants, because they pay into the economy, they pay taxes, and they keep the economy going. And it's not fair that they're being targeted by this administration who's being basically discriminatory because a brown person, can't get ahead in this life, because all we do is try to work hard, and we try to make sure that we support our families, either in Mexico or in other countries, third world countries, or whatever the case may be. And that's what we do. We don't ask for anything from anybody. But we work our butts off, and we're getting discriminated against right now.
Okay, so where's your allegiance to? Are you allegiance to Mexico or are you allegiance to
I'm
USA?
a dual citizenship person. It doesn't matter. I don't have any allegiance to anybody. I have allegiance to myself to make sure that I live a comfortable life as much as I can. But right now, that's not even a possibility because I have to work 3 or 4. I have to work basically almost every single day just to make ends meet.
Okay, so in my teachings and research and studies, I was an economics major, and over there, and I learned a couple things, and they would tell us about like gross domestic product. That's basically what the whole world runs on, which is called GDP for short, gross domestic product. Whenever you buy a new house, appliances, a new vehicle, those things for sure, those three things. I'm pretty sure there's other things. When you buy those things brand new, they contribute to the benefit of the economy, gross domestic product. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to buy to make this country better. I mean, we live here. So, I mean, I'm not taking sides. Like I said, my grandparents immigrated over here, and I'm thankful that this country, welcomed, gave me the legalities to be a citizen. I mean, if the circumstances would have been fast forwarded a couple of years, then technically right now I would not be a citizen. So it's like, oh damn, I made it before the cutoff. I'm grateful. By the same time, even as a young kid, I realized like at some time they're gonna have to do that cutoff. Which 2025 they did that cutoff. Do I agree with it? Not. I mean, it's messed up because I benefited from the time lapse. But at the same
I
time,
hope you're
I
not.
was aware at some point in time they're gonna have to cut that door. They're gonna have to close the door.
I hope you're not talking about birthright citizenship because
Yes, anchor baby, the ending
uh,
of the anchor babies.
okay, but
Basically.
okay, well, no president in his history of presidents in the U.S. has tried to cut off birthright citizenships except for this racist president
Okay,
that people voted for him
I
because
agree
there's too
with
many
you.
because there's too many dumb people in this country that don't know what the hell they're voting for because
I
they don't understand what the president did 4 years ago. He's the one that put us into the inflation that we were trying to get out of from the last presidency, and now that people have short memories, they're too dumb to realize what they voted for. The president that's going to basically put us into stagflation, inflation, and everything's going to rise again for living wages, for prices to just get by, consumerism or whatever. And that's just how we're going to live. And because people are just too dumb to understand what they're voting for because they just make a decision based on what their allegiance is to somebody that they don't know what the hell they're voting for.
Okay, I agree with you. Yes, this president is racist. I acknowledge that from an event that happened. He took out an ad about some mishap that happened in New York. He's from New York. Mishap happened in New York. He literally, because he had the money to buy out an advertisement that said like kill or like something like extreme punishment for these criminals.
You're talking
And it
about the
was
5 black people
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
that he discriminated
exactly.
against when
Yes.
he was trying to kick them out of.
Yes, that is what officially will make me call him a racist. Like, if you're gonna use your money to put these people on blast, then yeah, like that's hardcore. Not hardcore, but that's like, okay, fool, you're racist. That's a little racy, especially coming from America. Like, we're the melting pot. You gotta be cognizant of everybody around here because we're America. We're the best. But I get it. You're from the Caucasus Mountains. You feel you have a superior position.
It's called white privilege.
Yeah, you feel you have the white privilege. It's something we got to deal with over here in America. It's a battle, nonetheless. But aside from that, I don't know. I mean, if you're gonna be coming here with that, then you got to be like not so much about it.
I'm not about it. You're the one that want to talk about this topic. I'm just responding with the truth. People don't want to hear the truth because they have their head buried in the sand like ostriches, and they don't want to know what's happening. But in reality, when it comes time for them to vote for something, they don't want to do the research. They want to have a short memory, like I've mentioned, and they don't want to remember what this president didn't do for everybody, which was he's doing the same thing that he did for whatever 6, 7, 8 years ago. He's giving tax breaks to the billionaires and the middle class is gonna get stuck with the check.
Yeah, but another thing that too, or like I was saying, I'm an economics major, so I learned about economics and one thing they would tell us about too, and then like when I was in economy learning about, I was like, oh damn, like whenever you send money out of the country, you're hurting our nation, like you're our country, whatever. I mean, countries are just drawn up lines by the leaders, but nonetheless, they're the ones that are calling the shots. So
Well, in
if
reality, they're not because they're actually paying taxes on everything on all
they're
the goods
paying
they
taxes, but okay, when people send money out of the country, like, oh, I'm working here, I'm picking strawberries, and I'm gonna send money back to the homeland, to Mexico, and I heard it literally amounts to like billions of dollars, like like $50 billion. I don't remember the amount, but it was $1 billion. I was like, oh my gosh, that is a good amount. And yeah, even when I was in school and university, they would say, whenever people send money out of the country, that hurts our GDP, gross domestic product, and it benefits the gross domestic product of the country they're sending it to. So, I mean, then again, it's like, okay, I get it. You're working. Who am I to say what you do with your money? You work, go do whatever you want with your money. But at the same time, it's like, that's why I was telling you, who's your allegiance to? Who is your allegiance to? Is it to USA, where you live at? Or your allegiance to Mother Russia? You're sending payments back to Moscow, in Donald Trump's situation, you're sending money back to your Hyena's ladies' land? Like, okay, who's your allegiance to? USA or another country? So it's like, at the same time, okay, they're cutting that. Like, okay, if you're an immigrant, you can't send money back. Low key, I mean, I don't agree with the way they're treating the people. That's racist. They're attacking people that look paisa, that look ghetto. That's messed up. But when he said, you know what, if you're an immigrant, you can't send money out no more. You know what? Coming from an economics student of the game background, I was like, yeah, because I remember as a young kid, I was like, hey, why are you sending money back there? Which I get it. I'm not gonna tell you what to do with your money, but at the same time, it's like, who's your allegiance to? You're working here and you're going over there to send money back? I mean, don't get me wrong. We both have the my bad. I already forgot. I'm trying to blank. The mom's homie, friend, sister. What's her name?
I don't know. She has a couple of them. Aurelia?
The Aurelia. She lives in Mexico. Send her money. Hey, but who's...
Yeah, but
Hey.
she worked here all her life, and she's collecting money from here, from
Hey, but
Social
yeah.
Security.
I mean, I love being Mexican. I love being Chicano. I'm proud as F. I got cousins that are not Chicano. Well, technically they're Chicano because their dad... No, their dad's Chicano. Anyways. Yeah, I got family that's not Chicano. They're like, same generation as me, but their dad or mom, came from different circumstances. So they're Italian or Alaskan or Caucasus Mountain, it's all good. Nothing but love, cuz. But at the same time, where's your allegiance? At the same time, their allegiance to USA, my allegiance to USA. I mean, they're drawn up lines, from leaders and dictators, presidents, call it what you may.
You keep talking about the Caucasus Mountains, but I don't know what the hell the Caucasus Mountains mean.
Caucasian,
then say
white
that.
people.
Then say that.
I don't want to say white
There's
people.
nothing wrong with being PC or on PC or whatever.
Nah, I'm being PC.
But
the Caucasus Mountains.
It had to take 3 podcasts for me to say that. So say Caucasian. It's not a big deal. There's nothing wrong with saying Caucasian.
What's the name of the comedian that's in the movie?
What movie are you talking about to begin with?
Next Friday, The Pimp. Cat Williams. He's the one that
was
put
Friday
that idea.
After Next. Actually.
He's the one that put the thing.
That was Friday After Next.
One of his stand-up comedies. He's like, the people from the Caucasus Mountains.
Well, I met his brother. His brother's name is Omar.
Omar? What is he, a Hispanic?
And when I was trying to be I wasn't trying. I was going to the Laugh Factory and doing stand-up comedy open mic nights. I met him and he invited me to his show, and not because I'm only being real. he only put all the black
Be
people.
real.
He had a small segment of TV or whatever on TV, and he only put all the black people because clearly he didn't think I was funny enough, and he discriminated against me and some other white guy. And I'm only being real. His name is Omar. This was when I had my own. Well, actually, I met him because we had a radio show online, but it wasn't like a big show because we had to pay for the time to be on there, and that's how I met him. And he invited me to his show, but he never put me on because I clearly didn't think I was funny enough. But that's just my opinion about it because that's how a real true story actually. Well, I mean that's all we can say about whatever. I'm just saying that it's an unfair system. The middle class gets screwed because we have to pay for the rich people to stay rich, and we have to pay for the poor people to keep collecting the benefits. But now that I guess all the programs are going to go away for Medicaid or whatever, who knows if that's really going to save money because in reality, technically, it's only going to kick off the old people and the babies off of their insurance, and the billionaires get to keep more billions of dollars because their tax is going to be decreased from 22%, 21% down to like 15% or something like that. Meaning it's not fair because me as a working class person, I still pay 30% of taxes. We all do. And that's not fair for billionaires to keep more of their money when they should be contributing their share to society because they can afford to do so. And us middle class can't because we can barely afford to eat right now, technically.
Yeah, well, I understand a lot of people, we're on YouTube, so we're accessible through the whole worldwide and the whole nation. But I understand everybody has their own point of view. But honestly, here as us Californians, I like to believe we all share a common view that, because we all, immigrants are our neighbors, our friends. We're not trying to dehumanize them, which I get from other people from other states. They don't see them the same because it's not like that. But you know what? Over here, we have a place for them, and we feel for them, and we don't like seeing them, treating them in an inhuman way. And then now that we see that the House of the government passed the sweeping immigration bill allocating $150 billion to the enforcement of ICE officers and $46.5 billion for a border wall. Basically, it's going to continue, and we don't agree with it, but honestly, much love, much support to the protesters that are out there protesting, but stay safe out there. But I mean, I've seen videos where they try to block the vehicles of ICE agents, or they cause mishaps to their tires. But honestly, that's not going to really stop them because they have a lot of resources. So there's not much we could do. And like I was saying, even when I was young, I realized at some point the door has to be closed, and they kind of declared it now in 2025.
It doesn't matter. It's not fair for brown people to be dehumanized, to be treated like they're less than human, and or they're being humiliated and they're being basically raptured off the streets to be deported to a different country that they're not even from that country. It's not fair and it's inhumane.
Yeah, and what's inhumane, I don't know if you've heard about Sean Combs, a.k.a. the Diddler, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, a.k.a. P. Diddy.
That's why they call him the Puff Daddy, because he liked to puff.
I don't know what he was puffing on, but
4 inches and more.
What really grinding my gears about this guy is he disrespected my favorite type of music, hip-hop. He left it. He was one of the pioneers. He was one of the guys, the faces of hip-hop. And for him to commit such atrocious crimes, let alone domestic violence against his partner or wife, I don't know what she was, her girlfriend, but to do the heinous crimes he was doing,
Cassie,
trafficking, Cassie hitting her, and then trafficking.
Okay, so why did he get off so easily? It's like everything else. With somebody that has power and money and any type of, influence, they're going to do everything they can to pay off the right people And that's just how it is in this world. It's not fair that people with money get away with all these atrocities that they commit, and or they're not going to face any jail time whatsoever.
Yeah, so according to ABC7 Los Angeles, he was facing charges of racketeering and sex trafficking. Those are the big charges. But he was acquitted on the serious stuff. He was only convicted on 2 counts under the MANN Act, which is prostitution, trafficking, and faces up to 10 years each. Which I hope he gets both. But honestly, I think he has connections. And you know
They
what?
all do.
Yeah. You know
Everybody
what?
that has money does.
You know what? Honestly, in my personal opinion, I think he was like a lower level Epsteiner. You know, the Jeffrey Epsteiner. I think they both had a lot of recordings on people, but I think Jeffrey Epsteiner had recordings. Epsteiner, because I mean, f that fool. I think he had the wrong, like he went too far. He had like the wrong people recorded, and I think people in high positions had him executed in jail. Versus Diddy, I feel Diddy was like, he was a mogul in the entertainment industry. So he had dirt on people, but I think the Jeffrey Epsteiner had dirt on people with more power, like politicians.
Talking about rich
country leader
people.
Yeah. Billionaires, oligarchs.
What about the president? He was the president at the time when all this happened. The current
Yeah.
president. So
Yeah,
how do we know it wasn't him that did all this?
It could have been.
So
It really could have been. It really could have been.
That would have derailed
I wouldn't
every-
doubt it.
his political career.
Well,
We don't know that, but I'm sure that that's what it's leading towards, because all indications right now, what's happening, all the turmoil in the White House, is people know what really happened, and they're trying to keep it under wraps because they're trying to protect the pedophile like the president is.
Yeah, well, the government is not providing transparency. One moment they're saying, hey, we got the Jeffrey Epstein files on our desk. Epsteiner files on our desk. We'll release them in due time. What was it, like 7, 8, how many months later? 10 months later?
This happened in February, so now it's 4 months.
February, May, June, July,
4 months.
August. 4 or 5 months later, now they're saying, our investigation came out inconclusive, or there's no files. Yet, Giselle Maxwell, his what do you call it? Her
Maxwell, yeah, that's her name.
Maxwell, basically his bottom bitch that would go find all the clients for him, or
And his significant other.
yeah, that hyena, that little piece of poop will go. She's in jail behind bars right now. So it's okay. How is there no list, but yet the go-getter girl is in jail? Like, okay, that's not adding up. So I just want all our viewers to know. Okay, if you're viewing, you gotta be aware of that. Look what's going on. They're not providing transparency, and
they're not going to, because everybody knows.
They're not going to,
because everybody knows that the president's on that list.
Yeah,
and he tried to make that list disappear. Okay,
yeah.
so it doesn't matter.
And you know what?
It just goes to show you what kind of twisted mind that the American people have, possibly knowing and not knowing, but not having any proof either, or confirming that the president, was part of that list, and or in general they still elected a felon for president, when all our constitutional laws or one of them says or stipulates that any president shall not be a convicted felon and run for office. They should be automatically disqualified. So there's a lot of corruption in that sense, that billionaires wanted him to be president for a reason, or one person in charge, and they elected him president, but for what? So all this can blow up in his face? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I thought he was going to be the president to stand up against corruption and stand up against that. But I guess that's what I get for voting
He's the
for
most
the left or the
president
right
that ever came into office, because every day he's committing crimes, every single freaking day.
Yeah, I didn't vote for that, man. I mean, I just want our viewers to know, hey, just be aware that the government is not being transparent, and whenever you make your moves or investments, just know that they're not too transparent until they do decide to be more transparent and real with us and share with us, the common people, the technology that they have, because they do have more advanced technology, and they just choose to release the technology, and once they're done with it and deem us safe, then you know what? I won't share too much of my advances with openly in public. Maybe with our own crew, with our own government, you know,
we can
with our
never
own
trust
crew,
the government
with
at
our
all.
inner circle. Then I will, you know, share our advances. But if the government is gonna be hiding stuff, then you know what? Maybe we within our own cliques should start doing the same thing too. I'm not saying I'm against the government. I'm just saying if you're gonna have secrets against the common people, then maybe the common people should start having, you know, not sharing our advancements with you as well. You want to tax us, then maybe we should start taxing you as well in our own certain way.
It's called checks and balances. That's
Checks
why
and balances.
3 different branches of government were created.
Hey, Boston Tea Party 2025.
Okay, so also don't forget that because of the fact that we are talking about this, these are just our opinions. We don't know exactly what's happening. You know, everybody has their opinion.
We would like to see some transparency.
We're not going to see any transparency.
Yeah, and
you can never trust the government regardless.
Yeah, I don't expect transparency. That's why I'm speaking the way I speak. But if the government wants to step up, then hey, I mean, honestly,
they're not going to, because we don't even know who killed JFK yet. Even though they said they were going to declassify the files.
I mean, honestly,
we don't know why MLK was killed and why, or by whom. And we don't know why
they just recently,
Jeffrey Epstein has the list or not.
They just recently released that the Bob Marley, that CIA agent said that the CIA killed Bob Marley, and then more transparency that they were spying on Abraham Lincoln's killer.
Well, we don't know. Everything, I mean, it could just be an excuse or whatever the case may be. It could be a reason why we don't know certain things, or we're never going to know. At this rate, it doesn't matter, because the government will never be transparent about anything, especially for things that we could be of national concern or national security reasons, or whatever the case may be. But if that's the case, then we do want to appreciate you for always being here. The Cali Current Podcast here on a weekly basis. We're bringing you episodes 2 to 3 times a week, daily or weekly, I mean. We do appreciate you for always being here.
Yeah, most definitely. We appreciate you guys for checking in. If you have any share, and comments, let us know. Oh, one last thing. Yeah, that's kind of the reason also. I just want to share it. Why I used to work for the government, and that's why I kind of left my position right there. Because these type of things, they're not being transparent. I know people that care about me were like, really, you shouldn't think about it like that. I was like, no, you know what? Okay, I'm not going to dedicate myself to that if they're going to be keeping secrets from us like this as a people.
Big shout out to my nephew Jay, who made us these shirts, these t-shirts.
Oh, yeah, shout out. Hey.
And our logo in the back.
Watch out, mother trucker.
So hopefully you guys can get the word out too.
But what's the point?
Actually, I didn't say that this podcast.
But the point is...
And I forgot to say that the word of the day here on Cali Current Podcast is gentrification. Gentrification, Gentrification. Gentrification. And basically that's what's it? Yeah, let's look it up. I don't have my phone to look it up. I never have my phone. Gentrification basically is the mixing of a certain amount of, whatever, minor, not races, but minorities in a certain area that are being, it also means that they're trying to make a place better for purposes of not having that place be looking as a poor place. In other words, that's what gentrification means. And I think that's what's happening. That's what the president's trying to do. He's trying to gentrify the nation right now and trying to get rid of the brown people. And he's not trying to get rid of the black people or anything like that, but he's trying to get rid of the white people. The brown people, so he can let in the white people and take over more of this country. Whatever.
Gentrification refers to the process where a historically lower income neighborhood experiences an influx of more affluent residents and investments. This often leads to increased property values and displacement of existing, typically lower income residents.
Correct. Yeah.
The term was coined in whatever time. So yeah, gentrification is basically people with money are coming in, and people with no money, hey,
Are
you
getting
like to
taken
hear,
out.
but get the F out. That's kind of
Yeah.
messed up, but hey, that's capitalism if you think about it. Like,
Well, thank you everybody for being here at the Cali Current Podcast. We do love you. We do appreciate you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. And we do greatly appreciate no matter what you stopping by every single time.
make sure to stay Cali Current, y'all.
Take care. We love you. Bye.